Eagle, DLG, and Mr. Davalos. Welcome, and a bunch of fabulous students. Oh, and Miss Collins, hey there. I'm sure it looks like there are a few other teachers too. All right, so we are getting started, and I'd like to introduce you to Nila Soto, who's coming to us from Lima, Peru. So this is our first virtual tour in South America. I've never been to South America myself in person. So this is a nice way of getting a little bit of an acquaintance with the continent. And Ms. Soto is native Quechua, and she's going to be talking to us a little bit about her Andean community. And so I believe that you can see my screen, but give me a shout if we need anything on that front, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, hola, buenas tardes a todos. My name is Nila. I'm very happy that have this opportunity to share a little bit of the history of my country, my background, to share something about Peru to all of you. Yes, my full name is Nila Judith Soto Santiago. I born in Lima. All my education is I have done in Lima, but my background is from the Andes. From the Andes. My dad is a typical Quechua person. Quechua, we call people that speak the native language. I'm talking about 500 years ago, during the Inca time. Still the language is spoken in the Andes. And yes, my dad speaks very fluent that language, my mom as well. So they moved to a big city like Lima. So all my brothers and sisters, we born in the city. So then because of my dad's side, that is very far, we can say, from the big city, from the civilization, a rural area, I was my dad was very enthusiastic with all of us to sharing about their tradition, philosophy, the way of thinking, everything that for me was to be proud about my identity. So I decided to become a tour guide. In Peru, to become a tour guide is a profession. We need to do 5 years university. So that involves everything, anthropology, archaeology, history, art, mythology, gastronomy, everything, a little bit of everything, so plus languages. So I love languages as well. So I have the chance to learn English. My first language that I learned is Spanish. Then English when I decided to become a tour guide, and then Italian, Portuguese. Nowadays, because of the lockdown, I do in French. I'm studying French. So yes, I love languages as well. So please, Elizabeth, can you move to the next one?
Sure. Yeah. Just
Thank
tell
you.
me whenever you'd like for me to move along.
Okay. So something that, when we talk about indigenous communities, so is for me is the group of families, group of people who want to decide it, that they have the common way of thinking. They have a link that they feel happy to share with them. So they decided to live in a specific place. Language, of course, the philosophy. We don't say here in Peru, in the Andes, that people talk about religion. We call philosophy because it's the way how people they know about how they need to be treated to the nature, to the other people, how they need to behave. And in this photo is a mix of tradition as well. For example, there is a Pachamama ceremony. Pachamama means the Mother Earth. Pacha in the native language means earth. Mama, Mother Earth. Is when we need to say thank you, for a good produce, good season, potatoes, corn, we are blessed to have this nature, a house, a family that will. Still, this is his practice. It's mixed because the same people native in Andes, for example, my relative in these communities on some church, but any day of the week they go to the mountains to do this ceremony with coca leaf, beautiful potatoes, something like that, and sometimes also Coca-Cola or Inca Cola drops. They put in the to bury. They make a hole in the ground and they do that ceremony, And then also when we talk about communities, communal work, they work together. limitation to have, the income, money. They work together, they help each other. We call that reciprocity. Yeah. So the music is part of the people life. And everybody, when they hear the word Peru, connect with Cusco, Machu Picchu, the Andes, but also in our indigenous community, we have people from the Amazon jungle as well. That is very large. Please, the next one, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Sure.
This is a little bit just to remind you the location of Peru. Peru is in South America, very close to the equatorial line, a tropical country. Lima, the capital, is just 12 degrees below the equator, right? I think your city is about 30, 32, 35 degrees north from the equatorial line. Yeah, we are in the south. So Peru is the third largest country in South America. The largest one is Brazil, the second largest is Argentina, and the third one is Peru. Peru is on the west side of South America, next to the Pacific Ocean. That means we are on the Pacific Ring of Fire, active volcanoes, tectonic plates, like the San Andres Falls. We have a fall down here in Lima as well, Nazca Falls. So in this country, we have, because of the geography, also we have different elevation, biodiversity, and Peru is considered also a country. So if we talk about indigenous people nowadays, 2021, we have lots that is good. Next one, Elizabeth, next.
Yep.
Quechuas. Quechuas is not only the language, also Quechua is the ethnic group. Yeah, ethnic groups, people that live in the Andes. Nowadays, Quechua is the second official language in Peru. The official language is Spanish. The second official one is Quechua, because of the number of people in the country that we speak the language. In Peru, population is 31 million people. 31 million people. Last census in Peru was 2017, 4 years ago. 31 million Peruvians, 8 million speak that language. Quechua is quite a lot. Remember, Quechua since 500 years ago, since the Inca time, people still practice. Quechua is not a written language, that's people still, they just talk, it's oral language. And but nowadays it's possible to learn the language at the universities, having used the Spanish alphabet, Latin alphabet, to using the phonetics, the consonant vowels to create a written language for this ethnic group. Please, the next one. This is another photos from communities when they concentrate each other for a meeting, for a communal work. As I mentioned to you, reciprocity is very important, very important. They don't wait for the government help. I mean, the government main office is in Lima, the capital, but we have the access to the location of these communities. The access is very difficult, very hard. Sometimes help, the health service, education is very lack, unfortunately. So they organize themselves in communities, in meetings, and to help each other. They know physically is not in condition to keep working, so they work for them. Reciprocity, Please, the next one. This is a typical Sunday market in the Andes. From different village, people go to the largest town in the Andes, in the main plaza in the center. So they do their shopping. Sometimes in a specific area, because of the altitude, fruits don't grow very well. So they go bring maybe potatoes or coca leaf or quinoa, and they get pasta, noodles in this town. So, and they don't have money, so they interchange the products, butter, So this is very interesting to see them, because it's that for these people, it's a great opportunity to meet their relative, friends, make friends as well. It's a typical market. This is a photo taken in Pisac, Sacred Valley of the Incas, near Cusco, 1 hour away from Cusco. Next one, please. Activities of the communities in the Andes. Farming is the main activity. In Peru we call the land of potato. We have 3,000 varieties of potato. In all South America, is 4,600 varieties of potato. It's a lot, not just 100. 3,000 we grow in Peru. And then fishing as well. We have beautiful lakes. Nowadays have been introduced from Canada, trout. So in these lakes we have trout. So people, they do fishing, they do trout, kingfish, and other native fish as well. And the other photos are about what the people do in their house, how their houses are. The kitchen, this lady is cooking, outdoor. And next to the kitchen is the guinea pig corral. Guinea pigs is part of the Andean people diet. They don't have guinea pig as a pet, maybe just a temporary pets, maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. And the family, they don't name guinea pigs because they know they're going to be eaten, so it's part of the people diet. Huh? Next one, please.
Oh no, those poor guinea pigs.
Yes, this is a cultural issue.
It is cultural, and I need to be open-minded. I had guinea pigs as a child, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Aymara, this is another native groups, Aymaras also is a language. It's amazing that this language, when people speak, is like Japanese, sound like Japanese. For example, to say good morning in Aymara is kamisaraki. Kamisaraki. Quechua is completely different. Phonetically, is completely different, right? Aymara, the location of Aymara people, Aymara communities is in the high plateau of the Andes.
Neela, can I interrupt and ask? That's so interesting. Is that because it's related to Japanese? Because of the Japanese influence?
This Aymara society is parallel to the Incas 500 years ago.
Wow.
Having anthropologists that they are very curious about ethnic, because the colors of the clothes and also how we look like. For example, myself, I am a typical Andean mestizo, from the Andes descendants, but mestizo, mixed, but I have straight hair, small eyes, I'm short legs, Andean men or local people, indigenous men, they don't have much hairs in their, beard, mustache, or in their body, like Japanese. So these anthropologists, they said, for sure, before the arrival of Christopher Columbus that discovered Americas, they sailed, Pacific Ocean to Polynesia, Melanesia, Nepal, China, so having found some connection with that. Actually, if some of you heard about the famous Kontiki's embarkation that actually was made on that lake. The name of the lake is Titicaca, Lake Titicaca. Is considered the highest navigable lake in the world. So the photo that we're seeing is this Euros people that speak Aymara. The house is made of reed. The reed grows on the lake. So the island is a man-made island, right? So when this explorer, Thor Heyerdahl from Norway, was exploring all around the world, also they found fascination about the similarity ethnically, people in South America with people from Asia, Mongolia, so they say, okay, I need to prove that he was explorer adventurer. So on this island, he built the reed boat with bamboo wood, and they moved to Lima, where we have the port Callao from the Pacific Ocean. He said 103 days. I'm talking about in the 50s, or I think it was 1947, something like that. And he crossed, and he said, I did it, I made it. And why not these people in those days, they have done that. So that's why maybe there is a connection.
That's so why interesting. I had no idea. Very cool.
Yeah. The next one, please. Yes, this is the name of the lake, Titicaca, and that is a reed. Look at the young girl, because also the reed is very important for them. They make the houses with the reed. They have solar panels, so these guys, they have smartphones, they have cable television, they watch Netflix, so but they want to preserve how part of their tradition, the way how they are living, the clothes, very bright, very vivid, the color, very colorful, but also they want to be with the technology as well, because sailing for about 1 hour, they are in the main city, so they can go to university as well, you know. So, but then is the decision that they want to live separate, isolated, maybe from the mainland, you know. So this is Titicaca. So then we have other indigenous community in Peru, Amazon. No one has an idea how big is the Amazon territory in Peru. Actually, 60% of Peruvian territory is the Amazon jungle. Look at the green color, is the Amazon. The brown color in the middle, that is the Andes, where Cusco, Machu Picchu was built, as well as in the border between the Andes and the Amazon jungle. And the yellow part, that is the coast, which is where Lima, the capital, is located. 31 million Peruvians were in the whole country, and about 17 million live on the coast in this yellow part. No, it's spread out in different big cities. In Lima, we are 11 million people. 1/3 of the total population is in Lima. Lima is on the desert, right? But in the Amazon, we have more than 80 communities, but about 12 have been officially considered that their language is accepted. What does mean that for the government and for Peruvians, that they are going to have a representative in the government, in the Congress. They have a leader that speaks the language and transmit their needs to Lima, and the leader need to move to Lima. The same happened with the Quechua people, right? So they have their representative here in the city, because here to elect our president, that we do that every 5 years, is compulsory. We have to, otherwise there is from 18 years old to 65. We have to vote to elect our leader. So also these people from the Amazon area, they have to vote, and they have to vote for their for a leader. And the leader need to move to Lima, close to the government. Yeah? The next one, please. Yeah, these are photos of our Peruvian Amazonian people, you know, and they don't speak Quechua, they don't speak Amara, they speak their Amazonian dialects. They do tattoo, you know, and the next one, next photo, please. The next one, for example, for me is very interesting because it's a very recent photo. I think I have taken this last January. I mean, last year, you know, because in February also I was traveling with a group. So it's, for me, it's amazing because kids, you know, still are wearing the costumes, traditions. When they go to the school, they wear uniforms with their traditional costume, because part of their identity is that they need to feel comfortable about the area where that they belong, you know, their family, their belief. When the kids, they are 6 years old, they start go to the school. So it's when they are 6 years old, is when they start learning Spanish, because the first language for them is Quechua, Aymara, Amazonian dialects, you know. So in this case, they learn, they go to the school and start learning Spanish to try to make them be part of the inclusion, you know, in the society, because I'm sure that many of these kids, they want to be a teacher, they want to be, you know, doctor, the astronauts. I remember was a kid on the island, floating island, say, I want to be an astronaut. You know, they have all of these dreams, so they need to move to the big city to become scientists, everything, learn the language. So this is mestizo. This is nowadays, this is I mentioned to you 2021, Peru is a mixed country, pluricultural, ethnically as well. About 500 years ago, the same time when the Spaniards arrived in the boats, in the embarkation, Africans people came, Turkish, Arabs, and then also we have actually Japanese. Yeah, the first Japanese came to Peru about 120 years ago. One of the Peruvian Japanese became a president, and then the photo in the middle is not that I have taken the photo in Europe. No, this is Peru. This is Austrians and Germans. There is a ghetto in the Amazon jungle, at the entrance of the Amazon jungle. Beautiful place, beautiful place. So this is when it's about 150 years ago, the first Austrians and Germans, they decided to build their houses there. And this is the way how today they wear their costumes, they dance, they celebrate Peruvians' national feast, and the same as well, they are Austrians or Germans important celebrations, and this is also in Peru. The next one, please. Next. Mestizo. Mestizo is how is Peru now. We are mixed, you know, ethnic groups. That's why I said myself, I am Andean mestizo. My background is from the Andes. but I am mixed as well, right? I have a little bit of Africans, a little bit of Asians as well, Andean. My dad's side very native, made in Peru for all the ancestors, made in Peru, here in Quechua speaking people. So still, next one, please. This is that we are. I want to.
Oops.
The other.
There we go.
Yeah, this is the indigenous leader. You know, the lady that is on the Congress holding the coca leaf. You know, she doesn't care about what the others in the big city Lima, the other Congress people, they think about her, but they want to preserve, they chew the coca leaf because it's part of their tradition. So, and they are allowed to do that. They are allowed to do that in the Congress people. And then we have the other one in their own language. A very an issue that we have here in Peru is the communication language. As I mentioned to you, we have more others dialects that they don't have representative and express their needs or something that they don't like about what the government is doing. It's hard, the communication, you know, it's very hard, the communication. But in this case, the majority of the big communities, they have their representative. The photo on the bottom, we have the leaders, good numbers of them are women. It's amazing. People say, you know, because women, you love to talk a lot, you know, you want to express their feelings, so that's why you want to be the leaders. But I think 90% of the leaders from these communities are women. 10% are men. They are quite shy, I think. It's quite contrary because Peru is a chauvinist country, you know, the leader need to be the man, the macho man, you know, but when they need to complain or to face something are the mamas, you know, the women. So next one, please. So here is, I wanted to talk a little bit about the history of Peru. Everybody knows Peru, as I mentioned to you, because of the Incas, amazing architectures. And look at the map in the middle, how big this territory or the Inca Empire expanded. The original name was not Inca, it was Tahuantinsuyo. That means the 4 regions, 4 colors: north, the blue one; red, the south; east, the yellow one; and west, the green one. The junction of these 4 regions is Cusco, the capital of the Incas, right? The capital of the Incas. Inca, what Inca means? Emperor, the president. That was the title of the leader of these 4 regions empire. So the title was Inca, and very easy to remember, so it was called the Inca civilization or the Inca people, but it was only one person. Please, the next one. That the Inca people did, you know, they domesticate, they conquer the mountains, and they, on the top of the mountains, they built these houses for different reasons. One was like a watchtower, because also they have enemies. The second one for living, and the third one is storehouses to storage, because at night it's very cold. They didn't have refrigerators, no electricity, so they want to preserve their meat, alpaca meat or potatoes, you know, so, and also to preserve for next year, for the future, you know, so those were storage houses, but just they built on the cliff or the mountains. They didn't have any vertigo or, you know, drops problems, drop disease, because they climb up and down and they bring in stones to build those houses there. Next one, please. Obviously, Machu Picchu is one like the icon of the Incas. It's amazing, Machu Picchu. Every time I've been so lucky because I've been there more than 100 times, and every time make me feel that I want to cry, because the location of the city, the construction, it's like the complement, the nature and the presence of the human beings. How they respect the mountains. There are some houses that have like a curve. They follow the shape of the mountain, you know, and the location. The city is protected by the mountains and also by a river. There's a river on the bottom, and it looks that is quite like a top of the mountain, but Machu Picchu is not on the top of the mountain. Also, it's on the is in the elevation is much lower than Cusco. Much lower than Cusco. It's about 1,000 feet lower than Cusco. So actually it's about 4,000 feet lower than Cusco. So everybody feel okay. And it's just amazing to observe. amazing place to do reflection there. It's amazing place. And the other construction, the bottom are the older Inca construction. The capital, as I mentioned to you, of the Incas was Cusco. If you can read, please, can you move the next one? Yes. I have written the name in different way. Cusco with S, with Z, with Q, because Quechua was not a written language. So nowadays, doesn't matter how you write the word. Is the most important is how you pronounce, is the pronunciation, right? So this is Cusco nowadays. It's a main plaza, and there is a Catholic church there, because remember when the Spaniards, the explorers, the Spaniards came, also introduced the Catholic religion that was imposed, but also nowadays a lot of Peruvians were Catholic. So Catholic, a church, beautiful religious art pieces are in that cathedral that is in the main plaza of the city. So Cusco Incas became so important because of the previous society. Very look at this very quick. I want to share about these pre-Inca people, Tiwanaku, Wari, Chavin. They were amazing masters, architects, engineers. As very hard stones did amazing work. They did canals, aqueducts, temples, the shapes, the walls, the cities, until today are in very good preservation. This is our society located on the Andes because rained a lot. That's why the main material is stone. Next one, please. Moche and Chimu. The location of Moche and Chimu is on the coast, on the desert. Natural hills, but inside of those hills were found tombs, pyramids. The cities were constructed in a very simple way: adobe brick, mud brick. Just because it's on the desert, some soil mixed with water and seashell to make much harder, and handmade, made the bricks, adobe bricks. And then these people were amazing goldsmiths, a lot of gold, silver, copper ornaments. That means, the power of the leaders. There is a tomb that is I'm showing, it is a photo there. There is the Lord of Saipan. Lord of Saipan was a leader. He was about 35, 36 years old. When he died, he was buried with 8 extra people. And the 8 extra people, they were volunteers. Looks that they apparently were volunteers, that they want to travel with the leader to the next life. They don't believe in reincarnation. They were sure that the death was like a passage, a transit to the next life. So that's why the extra people want to be buried with him, plus ceramics. Please, next one. Paracas and Nazca. Look at the time of the year, 1,200 years before Christ. Paracas, Nazca on the desert, southern part of Peru. Nazca very famous because of the Nazca lines, amazing figures, condors, spider, monkeys, having carved underground on the desert, on the plateau. It's amazing. And more than 10,000 lines that go into different directions. And then Paracas, they were amazing weavers, textiles, more than 3,000 years old until today is amazing condition of the Paracas people. They were involved in medicine. They did brain surgery. Brain surgery have been found the mummies that the surgery was it because the hair grows, continue growing, and then there is evidence about that. And then ceramics made of clay, just colored with minerals, and became very beautiful ceramics that was for drinking, musical instruments, and for the irrigation, wells, aqueducts, temples like Mayas, Aztecs, platforms, one on top of the others, like pyramids. Next one, please. So I'm showing you just like the highlights of the society because we have 100. So this is considered nowadays the oldest civilization in the Americas, 3,000 years before Christ, Caral. This is a society. So I'm talking about civilization that is a large group of people that decided to live together. I'm not talking about the first Peruvians. If I want to say the first Peruvian, I need to say about 12,000 before Christ, like families, individually, as a family, they live in caves, something like that. No, this is just a group of people, population that they decided to settle down in one place and they build they build a society, a civilization. Caral, 3,000 years before Christ. Temples, musical instruments, ceramics. Actually, this is about 2 hours away from Lima. So this is, we consider now the beginning of it. So ecosystem is very interesting about this the elevation. That here the elevation is meters. Meters. So I'm talking about society that live on the coast next to the ocean, and then to the mountains. These mountains, the peaks still are growing. Let me tell you, still are growing because of the tectonic plates that pushing each other. The Andes still are growing about 1 centimeter every two years, right? So we have ecosystems depending on the altitude, different animal, different plants that grows in different elevation. It's the way how we know how we are in different areas. Next one, please. Yes, these are the photo about just next to the ocean, beautiful desert, volcanic formation, and Pacific Ocean very rich in fish. Very cold water, humboldt current, cold water. That's why we have penguins, tropical penguins. Close to the equator, we have penguins. The desert, how dry is the coast of the country. Amazon jungle as well, the valleys. Next one, please. Sand dunes that in our vacation, now we are in vacation, people normally we in vacation in January, February, people go 1 hour away, 2 hours away from Lima, and with our sandboard, we walk to the top of the sand dune to do sandboarding. So this is very dry. No one also has idea how dry, how is the desert looks like. Is Egypt or Jordan or I don't know. Next one, please. Yes, even that is in these mountains, we have communities that they decided to live in this elevation and they go cultivate products, potatoes. For example, the photo with the people that you can see there, I have taken that photo with a group of EF students, with a group that was 2 years ago. And we did a communal service. Was a service project. And we help to the family in their harvesting, but also we learn from them because we were very curious to know about how this family, they are doing with global warming, how they are doing with, the products, is organic or not, how they are doing with the garbage, with the plastic, to avoid all of this pollution. So it's very interesting how because the philosophy is to protect the Pachamama, Mother Earth. So in their conscious is to do that automatically, So they do recycling. They don't use any pesticide or fertilizers, chemicals. They don't do that. They do natural fertilizers, no tractors, no pollutions, no factories. That's why the sky is very blue, super blue. The only problem for them is that the global warming, all the mountains, the snow mountains nowadays are melting, is melting. Next one, please. Another problem for their ecosystem, is the mining. Volcanic formation, the Andes very rich in minerals, copper, silver, gold. Now, very recently having found a source of lithium and then also natural gas. And that is not good for, in the informal or illegal way that a lot of mining company are doing is that mercuries, all the chemical waste, they are throwing in the lakes. That is the water that the people use, so that is something that the impact that they are affecting them. We have in the government of protection to protect all we have national parks to protect the areas, national reserve as well. So because the places are so far away, it's hard to control. So unfortunately, that is happening. The mining is affecting very seriously the families that are in that area. Next one, please.
Oh, this one's my favorite.
Yeah, global warming. Look at this. 10 years ago, just years ago, 2010, 2011, no one knew about the famous Rainbow Mountain because this Rainbow Mountain was covered with snow. This is no much rain during the last years, the last 20, 15, 10 years, no much water. So all the snow is melting. So the result of that is that we can see how rich is in minerals. So the Rainbow Mountain, because the different colors, iron, being magnesium, copper, different color, Rainbow Mountain. Nowadays it's a new attraction for the hikers. People walk there. It's possible to walk there. You breathe, pure air. It's amazing. But it's not hard to get there, but you mentally need to be prepared because of the altitude. I'm not necessarily need to be very fit, but because you have the whole day to walk in that area. Amazon. Amazon is the part of the, also we have beautiful ecosystem. We have also animals, families that live there. The plants, the flora and fauna are protected as well. Next one, please. Yes, we have in all our territory, especially in the Amazon jungle, sloth, that in Peru, hunting is not allowed at all, unless it's for the family, for communities, for survive, they for eating. But no, otherwise it's not legal. People are arrested if people do hunting, as a hobby. No, it's not allowed. Look at the beautiful animal that we have, the birds, the pink dolphins in the Amazon River, penguins, tropical penguins in the Pacific Ocean, and we're close to the equator. Even that we have penguins, condors, sea lions. Next one, please.
And I think we have one of those bears at our Houston Zoo, if anybody has been there. Llamas.
Llamas, alpaca, vicuñas. We don't have camels, but we have cameloids or camelids, And then next one, please. Superfood, our native products. We have more than 400 varieties of corns. We have more than 3,000 varieties of potatoes, avocado, camu camu. Those are fruits that is very rich in vitamin C. Quinoa, the lady on the top that is quinoa plant in different colors as well. The products that Peru start exporting. Coca leaf, that is also part of our tradition. Coca tea, we take like a green tea. Yes, and then something that we export to Europe, United States, Asia, also including for the NASA as well, for the astronauts. Quinoa is very rich in minerals, vitamins. This is another group of EF teachers, students. We went to a community to help painting and building the school for the kids. It was 3 days with them, spending days with the kids. Kids were very happy helping with us as well. Was a very beautiful experience. Well, this is Machu Picchu, an icon, beautiful place. And this is next one, please. Here I want to do a collage of my previous group that I've been traveling with here in Peru, taking all around my country, sometimes just for a week, but it's amazing. I feel so blessed. I have this passion, and I met people that were open to accept all of this, not much, but in a new country, because traveling for me is the opportunity that make us to be tolerant, to respect. Yes, many people want to say, Nila, I want to take something from your country to Peru. I can take Machu Picchu, but people can take Inca Cola. These boys, this is the last day when they were flying back to United States. Look at the bottles of Inca Cola. Inca Cola is completely different as Coca-Cola. Number one is yellow. Is the main ingredients is lemongrass. Maybe you know, guys, lemongrass and chamomile or chamomile. Yes, and we drink that a lot. So the boys, they love that, and they are taking back home. So this is it, a little bit of my presentation. Tupa nanchis kama, that's mean thank you, and until next time, muchas gracias. Hope that I just want to make you travel a little bit to my country. When you are ready, I'll be here.
Well, I very much hope that we could see you someday. And thanks for giving us a little bit of a taste of your country. When that's not possible, it's nice to at least travel mentally. I wanted to see if anybody had any questions for Nila. We had a couple of students who've been to Peru before, Maya and Samantha, and I know they were going to tell us just a little bit of what they saw. But was there anything that anybody else was wondering about or wanted to comment on?
I wanted to comment.
Tell us a little bit about. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to comment on when we went to Peru. Me and Samantha, I don't know where she is, but when we went to Peru, we had alpaca, and I remember like eating alpaca because we stopped off in like the middle of nowhere. We drove like 6 hours to go. I don't remember because it was in 2018. But like going there and like seeing how like all the food is made and things like that really inspired me. So like I feel like if I didn't go to Peru, I wouldn't be the same person I am now. And also we had like time to go look around the city. And so a bunch of like the girls in our group and some of the guys in our group, we went to eat empanadas, and where the empanadas were, there was a cage of guinea pigs, and you were able to feed them and give them hay. And we like it didn't hit us until like after we left. We're like, people eat those guinea pigs. And like I think the next day or so they gave us guinea pig to eat.
They brought
and it was
out.
so sad.
And it still looked like the guinea pig, and
it was like this. It was like the little paws were up, and it was like, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was freaking out. I couldn't eat it. I gave it to a friend. I was like, nope, I can't do it. It's too cute.
Yes,
yeah.
It is. Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's a good exercise in understanding different cultures, definitely. We have actually a great question from our world geography teacher, Miss Pam. She wanted to know if you could tell us just a little bit about Peru's independence movement. She says that her students right now are writing about Latin American independence from colonial powers.
Oh, excellent. Brilliant. Thank you. That's a very interesting and important question. Yes, I mentioned to you all about this pre-Inca civilization, the Inca, this amazing power empire that expanded to different territories in South America. So what happens after, the Spaniards arrived in 1532, was the first arrival to Peru. 1535 was the foundation of Lima, the capital of Peru, right? So capital of the Incas was Cusco, capital of the Spaniard was Lima, right? So they moved because Cusco is quite far from the ocean. So because the location to be contact with Spain, they decided that Lima need to be the capital of the Spanish people. So after 300 years, 1821 was a declaration of our independence. But the conquest, of the Spaniard was not easy. It was not just 5 years. No, took more than 200 years. Still, Native people were fighting against the Spaniards because they were not happy about how they were treated. They were not happy about how having imposed many things. Number one, the religion. Inquisition was not just a kind of torture, but was in different ways how people were treated, working very hard in the mines, etc. So 1821, many countries start with the independence, especially 1810. 1810, Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, Venezuela, Ecuador started with independence. Peru not yet, because the main power of the Spaniard was in Peru. The main power, the main base, military control, administrative control, religious control, political control was based in Peru. So they need to make the independence in all the countries around the Peru, and finally was here in Peru. 1821, the independence was given by an Argentinian general, San Martin, who did the independence before Peru. He independence Argentina, and then Chile, and finally Peru. 1821. But because independence was not a peaceful, was not like agreement, so Spaniard didn't want to accept that. So 3 years later, Simón Bolívar from Venezuela, who liberate Panama, Venezuela, Ecuador, Colombia, arrived to Peru and say to San Martin, what happened? You did independence 1821, now we're 1824, 3 years pass and nothing happens. So was Simón Bolívar who faced the Spaniards with 2 battles. And it's when we conclude our control with Spain, with Simón Bolívar, 1824, right? And then Peru is when we have our first president, that we call gobernador, and then was created the first Congress in the country. And then is when different societies from all around the world start coming to Peru, like English people, Germans, etc., to invest in the country, right? So the process was not easy, but finally we did it. Yeah, we did it, and it took 3 years for our independence.
Fabulous. We have just a little time left, and I know Maya and Samantha wanted to talk a little bit about their experiences. Can I turn the floor over to you guys, and you can tell Mila a little bit about what stuck out to you, because I'm so jealous. I've never been to Peru, so you have to share a little bit about what that was like.
Ms. Chapman, do you mind making me and Samantha presenters? Because I wanted to show a few pictures.
I think, let's try. Let me try that right now. And could you go ahead and start telling us a little bit about it, and I will see if it will allow you to do that.
Samantha, should I talk about the condors?
Go for it.
Okay, so on our last couple of days in Peru, there are these birds called the condors, and they're like big vultures, and we like a mountain and they were flying above us. And so during this time in the trip, our tour guide told us that like don't wear bright colors, because like don't wear things that look like fresh meat, because then they will go near you. So I was wearing a pink sweatshirt, and all of the condors started circling. I had 3 of them circling above me. Like some of them kind of like swooped down and then went back up. And so a bunch of, not the tour guide, but some of the teachers that were there and some of the parents that were there thought it'd be a great idea for me to lay on the ground and pretend I was a dead animal. And it was really close to the fact that like the birds would swoop almost as far down to almost catch me. And so
how big are they? Like show me how big they are.
I have a picture. If you can figure out how to make us presenters, I'll show it. But if not, like fine.
I have a picture.
I just tried giving you access to present.
Yeah. We have.
Are they bigger than Maya? Are they bigger than you? The condors?
They're probably. I mean, they're probably
like
not
maybe arm's length.
But I'm
bigger
not very
than arm's length. Maybe their wings are really big.
Their wingspan can be up to I think 8 to 10 feet.
Yes.
Oh, then they are bigger than me. I'm a very small person though, so like that's not that surprising. But yeah. And then I remember like one of my favorite things, like the one of the like huge facts that I absolutely remember and I don't think I will ever forget is we went to the Ayamaras, which were those reed islands. And my favorite thing I learned from that trip was that so people are on these floating islands and they're just made out of reeds, like they're not connected to the ground or anything. So if anybody gets really angry or decides, you know what, I don't want to live with these people anymore, they just take a giant saw and like saw their little corner off the island and just float away.
That's very true. Yeah. You
And
could
just
make your
something
own
I've
island
learned
there.
this week.
And they're like, hey, I'm living here now. And everybody is just like, okay, cool.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Miss Coleman just looked it up. The wingspan averages 10.5 feet. That's like 2 students stacked together. That's incredible.
That's like me and Samantha stacked together because we're very short people.
Yep.
And Mila, have you seen them? Do you see condors when you're just out and about in Peru?
Yes, we have an area that is called the Colca Valley. It's a Colca Canyon because the condors they have their nest on the cliff of the canyon. So it's possible to see condors early mornings. They are flying, so they are very big. They are very big. Yes, about 10 feet. 10 feet.
So cool. It's on my bucket list to see one now. Is it letting you guys share?
It's not.
It's not. It might be because we already started the meeting. I'm sorry, but we can share maybe at the beginning of the next one just to show people because I think we have a lot of repeat. Yes.
Can you send it via Remind to the group?
Oh, that's a good idea. If you'll send it to me, I'll send it out via Remind.
Yeah, I will. Also, I have another story, which is just a tip for people who would like to study abroad. Please do not leave your passport anywhere. I made the worst mistake of leaving my passport on a plane in Peru and having to stay an extra day in Peru. So don't leave your passport.
I think you just wanted to stay an extra day in Peru. I think that was it. You were so in love with it.
The airport, like they knew exactly where her passport is. Like it was locked in a safe in the like overseer manager person's office. But the guy had already gone home for the day and they wouldn't like call him back to get her passport.
So like, I had to stay an extra day.
And then so then she had to stay the extra day.
And there's only one flight a day that goes to America. So, and it's at 12 a.m. in the morning to go to this flight. So a lot of, like when I had to go, we went with our Spanish teacher to do a Spanish immersion course there. So that's why like me and Samantha both take Spanish. And so that's why it was so helpful for us to go to Peru and practice our Spanish other than being in America. And so when we were there, there was my Spanish teacher who stayed behind with me. And like, she was telling her family about how like I left my passport and now I have to stay here like an extra day. But her family was like, did you hide her passport? Did you want to stay in South America some longer times? And I was like, no.
Yeah. It was an adventure on a number of levels. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes,
Samantha.
it was.
One of the other things that I remember is that like the people there are so nice. And like, I remember I was in a store and it was me, my friend, and my friend's mom. And we were in this store and like everybody there is my height. I'm 4'9". So like everybody's my height there. And I was like, wow, I actually feel like I'm like not super short anymore. And then I would stand with my group and then I looked like a child because I'm just short. But like all these people, they're super nice. And one of the women who was working her like shop area started asking me if like me, my friend, and my friend's mom were all sisters. And like it was all of the people there are super nice. Like you can just go up to people and talk to them and they'll just be like, oh, hi, how are you? How's it going? And
well, and I think really we definitely got a sense of that from you today, Mila. Just you're so hospitable in sharing a little corner of your country. So I know that we're getting to our end time, but I just wanted to say thank you one more time to Mila, and all of our pictures are in the chat. I don't know if you can see that, but also express expressing their gratitude. And thank you, students, for coming out at this weird time. I know it's not when we normally do it. We still had a ton of you, so thank you very much.
Oh,
And
sí,
thank
sí,
you,
ya
Ryan
nada más
Samantha.
falta como un minuto para que se termine.
Oh, I think Ms. Salcedo was saying something. Okay, so thank you guys. You have the form. I'll hang on in case anybody needs any help, but have a good rest of your day. And Egypt is next week, our last one of the semester. Our tour guide is coming to us from Cairo, so I think that you'll really enjoy it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, and take care, all of you. And thank you very much again for giving me this opportunity, this window, the technology to share about my country. I'm so happy to hear that some of you have been here in Peru. So just waiting for everybody to come to have the chance anytime to come to my country. Thank you. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Have a good day, everybody. That was so fabulous. Thank you. And it worked perfectly. So I'm really pleased. Bye, everyone. Hey, y'all, for those of you left, did you need help with anything? Miles, Jaylene, Lillian, Taryn, Rayleigh, did you need help with anything? Okay, I am going to end the meeting then.